I haven't really talked about Mario on this channel, have I? Despite the fact it's one of my favorite game series, all but one of my videos actually relate to Mario in any way, shape, or form. Except for now, of course. Luckily, I chose an amazing time to talk about this game in particular, and just general Mario. Super Mario Odyssey just came out and collectively blew everyone's mind 2 times in a row, and the subject of this specific video is now 10 years old. Time to talk about my second favorite game of all time, Super Mario Galaxy. Unlike other Mario games, Super Mario Galaxy is set in the Wild West. In an old town named Mushroom Gulch, an outlaw known as Nasty Bowser comes to town with pistols in hand. After intimidating the locals, he takes all the town's money and runs off somewhere. Sheriff Mario comes to town, and after seeing the damage that outlaw did, he's determined to get Nasty Bowser behind bars. After traveling through 8 worlds, you get to his base of operations, and he has Princess Peach tied to train tracks. After saving her from an untimely death, Nasty Bowser and Sheriff Mario have an awesome shootout. Sheriff Mario wins, and Mushroom Gulch is returned to the way it once was. Just kidding! But honestly, I'd play a Mario game set in the Wild West. Cowboy Mario, make it happen, Nintendo! What actually happens is Princess Peach sends Mario a letter, promising something special if he comes to the Star Festival, which happens every 100 years. Spoiler alert, you don't know what this thing is. When he gets there, everything is actually fine. For about 10 seconds. Bowser crashes the party with his troops and takes Peach and her castle into space. Mario gets woken up on this random planet by a bunny, who tells Mario to play hide-and-seek with them. After catching them, they turn to Lumos, which are... I think they're baby stars? They direct Mario to Rosalina, the caretaker of the Lumos, one of which decides to rest in Mario's hat, allowing him to spin. After retrieving Grand Star, you're taken to the powerless Comet Observatory. It needs Power Stars and Grand Stars to run, and if you get it running, you can get to Peach. And so, the adventure begins. Pretty basic, but it has some intriguing elements and subplots we'll get into later on. Spoiler alert, obviously. This game looks amazing. The Wii may not have been nearly as powerful as the PlayStation 3 or the Xbox 360, but this game shows it was capable of producing some great looking visuals. The skyboxes are just beautiful, the shading is wonderful, the models look really good, the textures are high res, and the cutscenes just look phenomenal. Not to mention it's all running at 60 frames per second without a single frame of slowdown. And if you're playing this on the Wii U, it gets upscaled to 720p, meaning that this can be played in HD nowadays. Super Mario Galaxy is perhaps the best looking Wii game, period. The music is amazing too. They really knew this game was something special when they were composing these tracks. From the title screen to the final boss, a mix of regular Mario sings music and sweeping orchestral scores grace your ears the whole way through. Some of these tracks are just beautiful. As for the sound effects, it's typical Mario fare. Everything sounds like it should. Overall, the presentation is phenomenal, especially for a really early Wii game. Like with every other game I've reviewed on the channel, the story and presentation are only side dishes, and the gameplay is the main course here. Like in most 3D Mario games, you have a wide array of moves to choose from. There's classic moves like the triple jump and long jump, as well as a new spin move, which Mario can perform thanks to the baby Luma residing in his hat. You can do a home and ground pound with the spin, which is very useful. Also, not unlike Super Mario 64 or Super Mario Sunshine, the main goal here is to collect the gold shiny things, in this case, Power Stars and Grand Stars. Power Stars are obtained by completing challenges and tasks, while Grand Stars are collected when you beat a big boss. The missions you do for Power Stars are varied and creative. At one moment you can be fighting a huge robot, and at the next you could be racing a Boo. And nearly all of the 120 stars the game has to offer are fun in their own unique way. It's totally worth getting them all, and while we'll explain that later. However, unlike Super Mario 64, you can't do all of the stars in any order you want. Not the biggest issue, but it could be a turn-off for some die-hard Super Mario 64 fanboys. This game's main difference when compared to other Mario games is gravity. Since you're in space, gravity is not a rule. You'll be walking up and down and all around this time. This allows for some pretty creative level design, which is something that the developers definitely nailed. Controlling Mario feels pretty good. You'll be able to make jumps easily, you can run around just fine, and performing your moves is simple enough. It usually felt that anytime I died, that death was all my fault and not the control's fault. The motion controls are there, but they aren't bad at all. It's pretty much just shaking the Wii remote to spin and pointing at the screen and press A. Except for two types of missions, entirely dependent on motion controls. These being the Manta Ray missions and the Rolling Ball missions. Both really suck. The Manta Ray is hard to steer, but otherwise simple to understand. The ball, however? Ooh boy, something went terribly wrong here. All of your movements are controlled by tilting the Wii remote like an arcade cabinet joystick, which is not an awful concept at all, but the way it handles is just really bad. It somehow feels unresponsive and oversensitive at the same time, leading to quite a few unfair deaths. However, these missions don't really detract anything from the game, given how few and far between they are. There's like 4.5 of the Manta Ray and Ball missions combined. That's only 4% of the entire game. You can finish the game without even touching these missions, and it's not even that bad in a 120-star run. Because the completion bonus is, again, totally worth it. There's also classic-style power-ups. The Fire Flower makes its first 3D appearance, though it has a time limit for some reason. That's the only returning power-up. The rest are completely new. First up, the Bee Mushroom. It allows you to fly and around and climb on certain surfaces, like honey. The Ice Flower is the polar opposite of the Fire Flower, allowing you to shoot ice from your hands. It also gives you the ability to skate on the water and jump off the waterfalls, as awesome as that sounds. The Blue Mushroom is kind of slow and cumbersome and not really practical. You move really slow, but hey, you can turn invisible. It isn't really used that often. And the Spring Mushroom is the bane of my existence. You have a spring around you, allowing you to bounce around. It honestly feels like luck determines whether you fall off an edge like this or not. It's also just really stiff to control. I found the power-up to be sort of lacking this time around. It's not a big issue, but I just kind of wish they were all more on the Ice Flower side instead of the Spring Mushroom side. Overall, Mario Galaxy's gameplay, while it does have a couple nooks and crannies, is fantastic, like all Mario games tend to be. I'm going to say this one last time. This review contains spoilers for Super Mario Galaxy's ending, subplots, and 100% completion bonus. If you haven't played this game yet, and want these things to be a complete surprise when you get around to playing it, skip to the time code you see on screen to go straight directly to my final verdict. With that all said, let's go! So before I talk about the ending and final boss and stuff, I just want to bring up Rosalina's storybook. As you progress through the game, you'll unlock more chapters to read in this book, which Rosalina reads to Lumas. This contains her backstory. It starts out cute enough with a story about a little girl finding Luma who lost their mother, with said little girl promising to help them find her. And then chapter 4 happens. In this chapter, Rosalina has an odd dream about her mother, which she comments that she will never see again. And then it goes back to normal for 2 chapters, and then suddenly, chapter 7. In this chapter, Rosalina finds her father's telescope, which causes her to reminisce about her past and her family. However, this also reminds her of her mother. At this moment, it's heavily implied that Rosalina's mother died at some point. That's really heavy, especially for a Mario game. Although, it's actually really cool to see a Mario character with a backstory, as the characters in this series rarely even speak. Now that we're done with that depression, it's time to talk about the game's final boss and its ending. Final boss with Bowser is nothing really that special. You just knock him into these things, then you knock these things into him, and then you knock him into these things, and he dies. The ending, however, is something else entirely. With Bowser out for the count, Mario goes to the castle, and instead of cake, Mario's treated with a black hole! This black hole promptly starts sucking everything up, until the baby Luma in Mario's hat, along with many others, sacrifice themselves to stop the black hole from destroying the universe. After this, Rosalina tells Mario about the cycle of life, Then everyone wakes up in the Mushroom Kingdom. It's implied that a new galaxy has been created. The end. But wait, there's more! If you get 120 stars, you get one more cutscene after the credits are done rolling. Essentially, Rosalia just says she'll watch you from beyond the stars. The comet observatory flies up, and this cutscene also shows you that your baby Luma actually survived. Oh, hey! After this cutscene, the game informs you that you can now play the game again, but this time as Luigi. Yep, Luigi is fully playable for the first time in a 3D Mario game. He jumps higher, but has poor traction as a trade-off. Do 120 stars again as Luigi and you get a purple coin star? Okay, sure. Haven't done a Luigi playthrough yet. Maybe I'll do it someday. Overall, it's worth it. I mean, you get to play as Luigi after all these years in a 3D Mario game. Super Mario Galaxy is a masterpiece. Nothing more, nothing less. Its problems are so few and far between that they really aren't problems. Just small, unpleasant moments that are usually over pretty quickly. Pros are amazing gameplay, breathtaking visuals, fantastic music, interesting subplots, and a great completion bonus, while nothing really stood out as a big con for me. As for my score and award, Super Mario Galaxy gets a perfect 10 out of 10, and a gold award. If you like really good video games, Mario games, or just general platformers, this is one that should not be missed if you have a Wii or a Wii U. So that was my review of Super Mario Galaxy. An absolutely, positively phenomenal experience from start to finish. With my first perfect score on this channel, I'd say it went pretty well. If you enjoyed this video, perhaps consider subscribing to stay up to date with my new uploads. With that said, this has been blueblur98, signing off. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.